there next to her.
You can see Maggie's left foot get caught right here. The other jockey loosens his reins, hoping to free her foot, but this only slows his horse. With Maggie still stuck, she's now inadvertently commanding that horse to go right. And when he does, Maggie gets pulled out of her saddle, and he goes right between them. As the wagon starts to fishtail, the motion drags Mark under. Thinking fast, he grabs the reach, part of the undercarriage, and pulls himself between the spinning wheels. But in the process, the rear wheel grazes his head. Now, human rescue ladder. Standing on the bottom of the lake, he bends his leg at the knee. Then he takes one of the horses and actually allows it to step on his thigh as he pushes it up and out of the ice to freedom. Kachina fell when the soaked soil broke loose under her 1,500-pound body. She plunged 6 stories straight down, then got hung up on an old oak tree a few feet before splashing into the raging river. Austin is sitting on the curb near an all-terrain vehicle. As the panicked horses barrel toward him at breakneck speed, they ram the golf cart-sized vehicle. In a chain reaction, it shoved over him, crushing him underneath its weight. And just blind luck that saved one of the greatest jockeys that day. After Lafitte was thrown, he fell face first into a small ditch about 2 feet deep, between the rail and the grassy turf. When Seal the Deal landed on top of him, that crevice saved Lafitte from being crushed under the full weight of the horse. First, he falls on the rump of another horse before slamming into the ground. Butch then heroically reaches over and grabs hold of Sir Sagamore's reins to slow him down. That's when Simon's boot finally shakes free of the stirrup. So when the Galway Piper's front hooves clip the heavy brush at 35 miles an hour, the impact causes all 1,000 pounds of the horse's weight to suddenly pivot forward. That momentum catapults Joe right up. Saved Stephen. Instead of fighting the fall and balling up, his body rolls limp, enabling the horses to step over him and not directly on top of him. And when the sulkies hit Stephen, his flat body acts like a speed bump, pitching the drivers out of their seats. So instead of a combined weight of around 175 pounds, only the 55-pound sulkies actually roll that throws Terry's life in jeopardy. At the start, Captain Matthews jerks to the outside, causing his sulky's right wheel to roll over the wheel of the sulky next to him. Terry's sitting at a 45-degree angle and not strapped in. The jolt catapults her onto the limestone track. His eyes on the side of its head, it has great peripheral vision, but difficulty seeing objects right in front of it. So when She's a Problem rounds the turn, the horse most likely mistakes the white peg on the track for a larger object, like a wall, and instinctively tries to jump over it, but stumbles under the weight of the sulky. A modern-day chariot is made up of a basket where the rider stands, a 15-foot shaft called a tongue, and the neck yoke which goes on the horses. There are also 2 safety straps which go from the tongue to the horse, so in the event of the tongue separating from the yoke, the tongue won't fall to the ground. The problem for Tracy begins when Midnight Marathon hits the brakes. Instead of being thrown against the horse's neck where she could hold on, the horse stops and veers to his right at the same time. At that angle, Tracy's momentum catapults her forward off the side of the horse. First, the wooden horn on the saddle hits the ground, creating a small pocket of space under the horse. Then, Martine fell in the perfect place, directly under the curve in the horse's back. As she rolls over him, her rump and shoulders create a little bridge, saving Martine from the full weight of the horse. The angry horse turns and sinks his teeth into Guillermo's leg. This is what it looks like from another angle. The horse chomps down. Fortunately, Guillermo is wearing leather chaps that protect his flesh from the 12 sharp incisors. But the force of the bite prevents him from getting away. The horse releases a thunderous kick to the head. A horse has between 36 and 44 teeth. They are divided into 12 incisors in front, for biting off blades of grass, and 24 molars in back, which grind and chew in a circular motion. It's those 4-inch front teeth that chomp down on Gaston's flesh, pinching and squeezing the skin on his back. When Greg pulls on her reins, the chain pulls up on her chin. Paris feels a sensation she never felt before. It frightens her, and she goes the only direction she can, straight up and over, landing saddle first right on Greg. The bit guards protect the horse's sensitive mouth from being pinched by the bit's moving parts. Without bit guards, every time Ricky Sue tries to turn Sparky, his mouth is being pinched and he receives a sharp, excruciating pain. A horse's head is rock hard. It's mostly bone. And this area, just behind the ears, is called the poll. There's virtually no padding here, just a thin layer of skin and hair. When Slush rears back, it's his poll that slams Jim's head. Juan's right foot comes out of the stirrup, but his left foot is caught. When Dollar gets back up, he races off. Juan's hooked to the horse and being slammed headfirst into the ground. And of all places, Bud sat down right on top of the wooden board covering the tank. A ton of Clydesdale proves too much for the flimsy plywood, and he crashes through. The tank is only 5 feet deep, but the metal bottom makes it impossible for Bud to climb out. The 4 horses were half of a team pulling a 90-year-old wagon. The wagon was about to turn a street corner when the 2 front horses spook and rear, causing a metal ring along the hitch to snap. That ring links the harness connecting the front 4 horses to the rest of the team. Now watch what happens at the moment of impact.
So now the 2 horses hit and their heads collide. As soon as their heads collide, their heads and necks snap back, and that hits Stacy right in her head.
With that fateful first step, Destin's right front leg sinks 1.5 feet into muddy murk. A second step plunges the horse another 2 feet deep. Now he's in up to his stomach, being swallowed by the mud, like quicksand.